Imagine stepping out of a spacecraft onto another world. No spacesuit, just you, standing on the surface of an alien planet. How long would you survive? 10 minutes, 5 triseconds. See, our solar system is beautiful from a distance. Those colorful planets we learned about in school. Mercury with its cratered surface, Saturn with those gorgeous rings, Neptune's deep blue mystery, they look so peaceful in textbooks. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Every single one of them is an absolute death trap. And I'm not talking about a slow, peaceful end. I'm talking about violent, horrifying, physics-defying ways to die that would make a horror movie look tame. Today we're taking a one-way trip to every planet in our solar system. No return ticket, no safety net. Just pure, unfiltered cosmic horror. And trust me, some of these are worse than you can imagine. Let's start close to home. Ever wondered what would happen if you took off your helmet in space? Well, forget just floating in the void. Let's take a tour of our closest neighbors and find out how quickly you die on other planets. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. First stop, Mercury, the scorched wasteland. This is the closest planet to the sun, and honestly, you're dead before you even hit the ground. Imagine stepping out of your spaceship onto the day side. The temperature is a blistering 800 degrees Fahrenheit, or 430 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt lead. Your lungs would be seared instantly. Your blood would literally start to boil inside your veins. Your skin would blister and char like you've been tossed into a furnace. But wait, it gets worse. Mercury has almost no atmosphere, which means zero pressure. So, the moisture in your eyes, your mouth, and your entire body would start to evaporate instantly. You're being freeze-dried and cooked at the exact same time. Your body would swell as the gases inside you expand. Death would come in about 15 seconds. And here's the kicker. If you somehow landed on the night side, you'd freeze to death instead. Temperatures there drop to a bone-chilling minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. So, Mercury kindly offers you 2 ways to die. How generous. Next up, Venus, the pressure cooker from hell. The planet is ironically named after the goddess of love and beauty, because Venus is the most hellish place in our solar system. As you descend through its thick yellowish clouds, you'd realize they're not made of water. They're sulfuric acid. Concentrated acid rain that would dissolve your skin on contact. But you won't even make it to the surface to worry about that. You see, Venus has a runaway greenhouse effect. Its atmosphere is 96% carbon dioxide, creating a pressure 92 times stronger than Earth's. That's like being nearly a kilometer deep in the ocean. Your ribcage would be crushed instantly. Your lungs would collapse before you could even take a breath. And the temperature, a staggering 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt zinc. That's even hotter than Mercury, despite being farther from the sun. The thick atmosphere traps all the heat and just cooks everything. So let's paint the picture. You're being crushed by the weight of the air, roasted alive by temperatures hotter than a pizza oven. And if any piece of you survives long enough, you're getting dissolved by acid rain. The Soviets did manage to land probes on Venus. The toughest one survived for about 2 hours before being destroyed. And that was a heavily reinforced machine. You've got maybe a second. Alright, let's head to Mars. The silent suffocation. This is the habitable one, right? The planet where we dream of building cities. Surely this can't be so bad. Wrong again. You step onto that rusty red surface and the first thing you notice is the cold. The average temperature is about minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's not what kills you. The Martian atmosphere is less than 1% of Earth's. It's basically a vacuum. The saliva in your mouth would start to boil. Not because it's hot, but because there's no pressure to keep it liquid. Your lungs would try to inhale, but there's nothing to breathe, just a thin wisp of useless carbon dioxide. Within about 15 seconds, you'd lose consciousness from lack of oxygen. Your body would start to swell as the water in your tissues vaporizes. You would unexplode. That is a common myth, but you would puff up like a grotesque balloon version of yourself. The constant radiation doesn't help either. Mars has no magnetic field to protect it from cosmic rays and solar radiation. But honestly, you'd be dead from suffocation long before cancer becomes a concern. You might last about 2 minutes in total, but you'd be unconscious for almost all of it. So, you've survived the inner planets, but now you're feeling brave, huh? Let's talk about what happens when you decide to take a swan dive into the gas giants. First up, the king of planets, Jupiter. This beast is so massive it could swallow over 1,300 Earths. But here's the kicker. Jupiter doesn't even have a solid surface. It's just a bottomless pit of gas. Well, probably. We're not entirely sure what's at its core, but trust me, you'll never find out. Let's imagine you jump out of your spaceship into Jupiter's upper atmosphere. For a fleeting moment, you're just free-falling through mesmerizing clouds of ammonia and methane. Sounds lovely. The temperature isn't an instant killer yet, maybe around minus 150 degrees Celsius, but don't get comfortable, because you have much bigger problems. As you plunge deeper, the pressure starts to increase, and I mean dramatically. It's like being crushed in the world's most powerful trash compactor. You'd feel your bones crack and splinter, and your organs would be squeezed into a horrifying pulp, and the fun is just getting started. As you fall even deeper, the hydrogen gas surrounding you becomes so intensely pressurized that it transforms into a liquid. Go deeper still, and it becomes something called liquid metallic. Hydrogen, a bizarre state of matter so extreme we can barely create it in our most advanced labs on Earth. By this point, not even a body anymore. You're just a collection of atoms, your very essence scattered and mixed into Jupiter's violent, churning interior. You've been completely and utterly dissolved. Oh, and did I mention the radiation? Jupiter's radiation belt is the most powerful in the entire solar system. It's so intense it could kill you in a single day, even if you were safely inside a shielded spacecraft. Outside, you'd receive a lethal dose in minutes. So, long before the pressure turns you into human jelly, the radiation would have already fried every cell in your body. Your official time of death would be about 1 minute, but it would take a bit longer for you to become completely unrecognizable. Welcome to Jupiter. Alright, feeling lucky. Let's try our chances with Saturn. Ah, Saturn, with those beautiful majestic rings. From a distance, they look so serene, like a cosmic halo. They're made of countless pieces of ice and rock, dancing in orbit. But don't let their beauty fool you. If you were to step into those rings, you'd find yourself in the middle of a celestial firing squad. You'd be instantly pelted by chunks of ice, some as small as dust and others as big as mountains, all zipping around at thousands of kilometers per hour. You wouldn't just be hit, you'd be shredded, torn apart by an orbital buzzsaw of frozen debris. It would be over in seconds. But let's say, for the sake of argument, you somehow managed to miss the rings and head straight for Saturn itself. Well, congratulations. You've just traded one horrible death for another. Saturn, like Jupiter, is a gas giant. That means no solid surface to land on. Just a one-way trip into crushing pressure, mind-numbing cold, and eventually, complete molecular disintegration. And we can't forget about the wind. The winds on Saturn are some of the fastest in the solar system, reaching speeds of up to 1,800 kilometers per hour near the equator. That's more than 5 times faster than the most powerful hurricanes on Earth. You'd be ripped to shreds by the sheer force of the wind long before the pressure even had a chance to get to you. So, to recap, death by 1,000 icy cuts in the rings, or being torn apart and crushed in the atmosphere. Either way, you're looking at a time of death of just a few seconds to maybe a minute. Saturn is pretty, but it's not friendly. So, the gas giants are definitely not the vacation spot of the future. But what about the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune? Surely things get a little less intense way out there, right? Alright, we've finally made it to the edge of the solar system, to the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune. These worlds are cold, dark, and so far from the sun that it's just a tiny, bright star in the sky. First up, Uranus. This planet is a total weirdo, tilted completely on its side, so it rolls through space like a cosmic bowling ball. The temperatures here are brutal, plunging down to minus 370 degrees Fahrenheit. Its atmosphere is a thick, soupy mix of hydrogen, helium, and methane. That methane is what gives Uranus its pale, cyan color. So what happens if you take a plunge? Well, you'd freeze instantly. Your entire body would crystallize in a split second. And just like the gas giants we visited earlier, as you fall deeper, the crushing pressure would squeeze you into nothingness. Think that's bad? Let's head over to Neptune. It's even worse. Neptune holds the title for the windiest planet in our solar system. We're talking about winds that rage at over 1,200 miles per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. You wouldn't even have time to freeze before these supersonic winds literally ripped you apart. And the temperature, a bone-chilling minus 373 degrees Fahrenheit. So, both of these ice giants have a similar, horrifying end in store for you. They'd freeze you solid, crush you flat, and scatter your atoms into the dark, freezing void. Your time of death, under 1 minute. So there you have it, a tour of every planet in our solar system, ranked by how creatively it would kill you. Mercury would either roast you or freeze you solid. Venus would crush you, dissolve you, and melt you, all at the same time. Mars would let you suffocate in its thin, toxic air. And the giants Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune would all turn you into atomic dust through sheer pressure and extreme temperatures. It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? We live on the only planet in this entire solar system, and maybe the only one in the universe, where we can just step outside and breathe. A place where we're not instantly boiled, frozen, crushed, or irradiated. Earth is this impossibly thin, fragile bubble of safety in a cosmos that seems almost perfectly designed to destroy us. And yet, despite all that, we still dream of going to these places. We build and send robotic explorers. We plan ambitious human missions. Why? Because even though these planets would kill us in seconds, they also teach us something incredible about our own existence. They show us just how fragile we are. They remind us of how precious and rare this pale blue dot we call home really is. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see the faint red glow of Mars, or the brilliant, steady light of Jupiter, remember what you're really looking at. Those aren't welcoming new worlds waiting for us with open arms. They are beautiful, deadly reminders that we are unbelievably lucky to be here at all. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this little trip through cosmic horror, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments which planet's deadly fate sounds the absolute worst to you. Maybe we can all appreciate Earth a little bit more today. See you in the next one.